the trees and the old buildings behind it. This nice birch tree here, this birch back there with the weeping habit. That copper beach there, not so usual actually in Poland. Very common in Hemel Hempstead where I come from. And then these modern nice buildings behind. And some here, even houses in the old style, nestled in amongst these bigger ones. And a nice horse chestnut, which I think has had its incandescences and is just starting to get the beginnings of conkers. Little park not far from where I live. I'm actually out on a walk today. 2 days ago in Prague I did a 10-kilometer walk. Okay, so 10 kilometers is what you should do if you have nice tenki, which is Japanese for weather. So if you want to say "ii tenki desu kara," okay, 10 kilo散歩 what verb shall I pick for the end of that sentence? Shitai desu, I think. I'd like to go for a 10-kilometer walk. Would that be 10 kilo no sanpo shitai desu? You who know Japanese better than me can say it better. Anyhow, this is the first in a series of, I would say, documentaries that are going to be put up on an actual basis. So topical documentaries. I'm not going to be leaving these ones. Well, at the moment I've got a 10-month backlog because I'm putting up things from July of last year and August, and it's now June of this year, so that's quite a big backlog. But oh, thank you for completely not observing the law, WWL 12738 there. Thanks for that. Not letting me pass, but wanting to drive your car. Well, I mean, it's reasonable. I mean, you're sitting down and I'm standing up, so why should you wait for me? Anyhow, the reason is that, of course, in Warsaw we now have the so-called Euro coming up. I don't mean the Eurovision Song Contest. I'll say a word about that in a second. But the Euro Championships, what the Germans call the Meisterschaft, unlike the Eurovision Song Contest, which the Germans tend to call the Grand Prix, even though that would tend to suggest car racing in most people's book, I suppose. But Germans have their own way of talking about things, and the safest thing is to just let them get on with it, I always find. But it's just for those of you interested in languages that I make the comments so as to avoid confusion when talking to Germans. But here we have Chuck Norris, that favoured TV character, advertising the Western Bank. Because it's Bank Zachodny, the Western Bank. We have like a Western character. This is Lorenz and Victor, but they haven't asked me to come in and advertise them as Victor Huliganov, putting a hoolie face and wearing one of their clothings. Nice overhanging conifers there. That's very nice, isn't it? That's a big juniper, a big squamous juniper. Right. Anyway, what we're waiting for here in Warsaw, this is going to be, I can tell it's going to be one of these really rambling ones where I just ramble on a lot. And those of you who like that are going to be in for a treat. Those of you who don't like it, well, you know, there's always the off button, isn't there? Anyhow, hopefully you don't press it, and we can spend a little bit of time in each other's company. What we're about to have happen in Poland at the end of the coming week, this being Sunday the 3rd of June. So what we're going to have happen, starting off, any day now, people are going to be arriving. I arrived back from the Czech Republic yesterday and everything was very quiet, but it's all about to kick off. Kick off being the operative word, because I am of course talking about the football. That's the word I haven't put my finger on so far. The football, the UEFA European Cup Championship, being jointly hosted by Poland and the Ukraine. And this has caused no end of nerves, because all sorts of deadlines for production of all sorts of things like roads. This is very interesting. Look at this. They're offering, because one of the things I had in mind to do today, where I'm aiming to go to, is actually to buy a new camera. I'm not necessarily going to do that, but it's starting to irritate me that I've only got this at the moment that I'm using. And Nikon's one of the brands that I had in mind. And for this you get a tripod. Well, I've already got 3 tripods, plus some kind of a, I don't know what that is, shoulder pack or something. And it's all in for 5,000 zlotys, which is about £1,000 for the whole pack. Obviously they think that they're going to get enough people buying it to warrant the putting of a poster up, but that's for Photo Joker. I wouldn't actually necessarily buy from Photo Joker. I'll tell you a story about Photo Joker. Yeah, I think I can probably tell it. It's so long ago, it's not going to impact on anything. The people who are there now won't be the people that were there then. But why the hell shouldn't I tell it? It was very irritating for me at the time. Anyhow, I'll come back to that maybe later on if I remember. I want to talk about the football, and one of the reasons why I'm going to be putting this up concurrently is that I want to show in the films that I plan to do today and through the coming weeks actually, while I'm here in Warsaw. I'm just here as a normal person living, well, you can take that whatever way you like, but a person who lives normally in Warsaw, who is usually living in Warsaw, put it that way, and who would be here whether or not there were football going on. That's the sort of thing I mean to say. So I've got to go about my ordinary life, regardless of whether this football goes on or not. And so there's a Nordic walker behind. I wondered what that tapping was. What's that strange tapping sound? Ba-dum, ba-dum, ba-dum. Of course, if you're going to do Nordic walking, it does help if you're blonde, because that makes you look more Nordic. Anyhow, I've got to the end of the green light there. I'll go down that side, down that road there, because there'll be more sun on that side, there'll be more shade on that side, and I quite like the idea of getting some vitamins. Which is doing Nordic running as well, you have to bring the sticks up for that. Anyhow, shall I use this dotknee thing? Dotknee means touch me. Reach out and touch me, yeah. So, dotknee, dotknee. Anyhow, these films are going to be an attempt to document the impact which hosting a large quantity of football fans has on Warsaw. Now, so far, as of today, Well, what you're going to get is the calm before the storm. I suppose we're going to call this, maybe that would be a nice title, I don't know if I remember it or not, but the title for the first one could be The Calm Before the Storm. I've already been talking for over 15 minutes, that's impossible. No, it's 10, sorry, I'm just not seeing it properly. I'll turn this off in a minute, and when I turn it back on again and start to do the next instalment, what you're going to see is hopefully some evidence of dear oh dear, some evidence of football fever in the air, and also, well, actually here's the start of it, even before I've turned off and on again. The poster adverts, as you go around the place, when you see posters, large numbers of them are now talking about football. So here we are, it's a shop, it's got nothing particularly to do with football, yeah, supermarket, although obviously they must be a sponsor somehow, because they're able to put up a poster which has the Polish football on and the logo and it says we're all the national team, we're all part of the national team. Wszyscy jesteśmy drużyną narodową. So we're all part of the national team. Of course they were owned by, I think it's Portugal, so I'm not quite sure which national team they're on, but nevertheless they always like to say that they're, you know, when Biedronka have their adverts on television, they've got a logo which goes Nasza Biedronka, Nasza Biedronka, as though it's our Biedronka, but it's nothing really, it's not Polish owned actually, not when I last looked anyway, it's Geronimo Martins. Here we go, Stadion Oszalał. The stadium has gone mad. RTV Euro AGD, a 3D television, 46 inches, because they do televisions in inches, because I suppose it's because the English invented TVs or something, I don't know. Maybe we did, maybe we didn't, I really don't know. And it's supposed to be 5,599 in somebody's opinion, but now they're going to sell it for 4,790. And so the stadium's gone mad. That doesn't say necessarily that they are connected with the Euro like the Biedronka one did. But it certainly shows, you know, that football fever's in the air, and even people that are not necessarily sponsors, from that I can't tell whether they are or they aren't, and I don't know the background to it, so I can't say, but I would say that if they were sponsors they'd have put the logo on, so they're probably not sponsors, but it hasn't stopped them from using a football motive. In London, maybe I'll save this for the next one, but in London, yeah I will actually. I'll save it for the next one. See you in the next instalment fairly quickly.